Okay, little roll reversal here on Dude Let's Fish. My boy, who's behind the camera, I'm gonna just snag it from him. He's there behind the camera. Normally, he's in front of the camera, but today he's behind the camera because he asked me, dude, you got to explain how to tune a crankbait. Because you can't catch fish unless your crankbait is tuned correctly. So I'm going to tell you how to tune one to run straight and run true. There's two different types of crankbaits. First of all, one is the crankbaits that have the line tie built into the body of the bait, which is like this Spro Little John. That's kind of how that is. And then there's a lot of them that have the line tie built into the bill. Now they're similar but a little bit different, and there's some crazy other ways you can tune crankbaits, but the traditional way, the easy way to do it is with a set of pliers. So when you get a crankbait, whether it's new or old, or you just want to double check and make sure that your crankbait is running proper, you just want to have whatever rod you're using, you just want to pitch your crankbait out there 20 feet or so. You don't want to make a long cast. Pitch your bait out there about 20 feet, then let it settle, because there are a lot of crankbaits that have a weight transfer system in it, like the Spro Little John. But you just want to make sure the crankbait settles to where it gets to nose down where it's going to run correctly. And you're going to pitch it out there. And when the bait hits, let it settle. And then you're just going to reel it with your rod tip up so you can watch the bait. You can watch it wiggle. And as I'm watching it, it looks like this one in particular is running a touch to the left. And a lot of times I'll make 3 or 4 pitches before I even touch the bait. I just want to get a good idea of what this bait is doing. It definitely looks like it's running this way. It's running left as it comes back to us. As you can see, it's just slightly running left, slightly running left. With the Spro Little Johns, what we did right there, that is actually brass. The line tie is actually brass, so it's a little bendable. You can bend it, and I'm going to take it, and the bait was running this way, so we're going to actually bring it back to the other side. We're going to bring it will go whichever direction you make the, so I'm just going to take this and turn it ever so slightly this way. It's better to do too little pressure on it and then have to do it multiple times than to do it too far, and you're going to loosen that up. So let's see what that did. I'm going to pitch that out there, and it's still running a little to the left. We'll try it one more time. It's getting a little better, still running a little to the left. So I'm gonna bring it a little bit more back to the right, that is. We'll bring it back to the right. Now that bad boy is running straight back to the boat. And if you're familiar with the Little John crankbait, you'll know that they will hunt a little bit. They'll kind of wander a little left and right. So that thing is running straight back to me. It's hunting a little bit left and right, but now that bait is running perfectly straight. You also want to make sure your bill is not loose or something silly like that. You want to make sure that where your hook hangers are, they're not bent or anything like that. They can be, if you hit them on a dock or a bridge pylon, they can get bent. Not as much on this bait, but some crankbaits more than others. And you want to make sure that you don't have any big chips or anything out of your bill. And as you can see, that bad boy is just slightly bent to the left, and now it runs perfectly true. So that's how you tune one of those. Now we got the bigger. This is a Little John Baby DD. Any deep diving crankbait, it's going to be kind of similar the way you do it, but the principle is the same. But I can tell you this much, when that line tie is in the bill, you want to be very careful not to over crank that. It's important with those ones where the line tie's in the body, but when that line tie is in the bill, you do not want to over crank on that. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pitch it out there, and I'm going to let it sit. I'm going to reel it right straight back, pretty close. It's coming really close straight back. I think the bait is still in tune. And it actually looks like it's trying to run a little bit to the right. And you have to check it. Once you get a crankbait, you get out of the box, then you check it, and maybe you have to tune it, maybe you don't, but you get it to where it's running straight. That doesn't mean that bait's gonna run straight forever. You catch a bunch of fish, you smack it on a dock, you do different things like that, and all of a sudden that bait could not be running straight. If you don't occasionally check to make sure your crankbait is still running straight, then you're gonna have a crankbait that's running crooked, and you're not gonna catch as many fish. So I've already fished this crankbait a bunch, and I've caught a bunch of fish on it, but it does, I mean, it is just ever so slightly running to the right. So I'm gonna grab pliers, I'm gonna pull my line tight, and I'm gonna grab right behind that line tie, and I'm just gonna tweak it to the left just a little bit. Just a little bit. So you're just gonna throw it out, let it settle, and check it again. That's really close, but I don't know, I feel like it's just, I mean, a smidgen off to the right, but I'm gonna take my pliers. So I'm gonna take my pliers just a little bit more, put a little more pressure, bring it back straight up. Bring it back straight up, and now I'm gonna pitch it out, let it settle, check it again. Now we're in business. See, now that's coming directly straight back to me. Maybe that's why I didn't catch as many fish as I thought I should at the last tournament. This bait, it is running just perfectly straight back to me now. And that's what you want. So that is how you tune a crankbait on Dude Less Fish, because we all love fishing. So you're probably a dilf like me, because you're a dude that loves fishing.